All right, a very good afternoon to you and you're welcome to News Beat. It's the 2nd of June 2022 and we're live from the ACCRA'S studio here at North Ridge. We're streaming on Facebook as Metro TV Ghana, on Instagram and Twitter as Metro TV_GH. Let's take a look at headlines of the stories coming up shortly. Heavy security presence in the Upper West regional capital of Wa after some angry youth besieged the region's police command demanding the release of 3 persons arrested for the alleged involvement of the flogging of the 2 youngsters. Some victims of the June 3rd disaster yet to receive compensation almost 7 years after the flood and tragedy also killed 150 persons. We'll give you the details of that as well. And in business, Ghanaians outraged over projections that price of petrol is expected to go up again by about some 7% a litre today. However, prices of liquefied petroleum gas and diesel remains the same. On the international front, 4 persons killed in a shooting spree at a hospital in Tulsa, Oklahoma, in the United States. Yet another disaster of gun violence. I am Anie Fampo for the news now in detail. Now, 22 of the scores of youth who besieged the Upper West Regional Capital Command on Wednesday evening have been arrested. This takes the number of persons arrested in connection to the flogging of the 2 youngsters whose sex video went viral on social media to 25. We are live in the Wa where tensions are similarly, but here in the report on the coincidence so far. Let's give you that report and then we'll get you the live updates.
4, 5, 6.
The 2 youngsters on May 31, 2022 were flogged at the Wana Palace in the Upper West region for their involvement in a sex video tape which went viral. Though the incident happened in front of the Yana's Palace, the overlord of the Wala Traditional Council, Na Fuseinu Seidu Pelpo IV, has since disassociated himself from the incident and condemned it in no uncertain terms. The police on June 1, 2022 picked up 3 suspects, including the person who brought the victims to the palace and 2 sub-chiefs. Some angry youth, after the arrest, besieged the Upper West Regional Police Command on Wednesday evening, demanding the release of the 3 persons arrested for the alleged involvement in the flogging of the 2 youngsters. The youth, numbering over 300, pelted stones and bent ties. It took the over 100 police personnel, led by the Upper West Regional Police Commander, DCOP Peter Ndekugri, over 2 hours to ward off the angry youth, arresting 22 of them in the process. This takes the total number of people arrested in connection to the flogging to 25. Information reaching Metro News is that a delegation from the Upper West Regional Police Command have been dispatched to the Yana's Palace over the incident.
All right, let's go now live to the grounds where Adam Musa is there to bring us up to speed with what's happening with the youth and the police. Adam, thank you for your time. Good afternoon to you. Hello, Adam. If you can unmute, can you unmute? All right, we're trying to have the discussion with Adam Musa, who will tell us the updates from morning till now. We're told that about 25 people, youth who were demonstrating and demanding the release of the 3. Hello, Adam, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, all right. So where are you currently as we speak? Where are you standing?
Well, I'm in town. I'm just in some of the busy areas in town, observing what is happening and how residents are taking this whole development in town.
So the youth that was demanding, we were told that the number is now increased to about 25. Can you confirm that? And where are the rest of them?
Well, the police are still searching for the rest of the perpetrators of this act in town. If you look at last night, since last night, the police almost 3 hours to control the crowds at the police station. As we speak today, if you come to the Upper West region, particularly the police station, you will still see heavy security present there. And these are all ways they have devised to control the crowds in the area. And Annie, this afternoon, there was a crunch meeting at Ghana's Palace. Unfortunately, the meeting did not include the regional police command.
Hello, Adam.
Palace is angry. Yes, hello.
Who did you say is angry, the palace or the youth?
The palace is equally angry with the regional police command as well as the youth, because the meeting was supposed to be chaired by the regional minister, RISEC members, including the regional police command. But the regional police commander, the person of ACP Peter Ndakuri, was not part of the meeting. Our understanding is that the overlord of the Wala Traditional Council, Naaf Hussein Seydou Pelipo, and his chiefs are not happy with how the regional police commander and his team are going about arresting people all over the town. They think that the regional police command ought to have a dialogue with the chiefs so that they can find a way to address the issue. And unfortunately, that is not what is happening. If we look at the arrest made last night, they said some of the people they have arrested, including the 2 chiefs, sub-chiefs that were arrested, they needed to have given respect to the overlord and deal with this matter instead of to put his sub-chiefs in police custody. So that has been the position. But the import of the meeting is yet to be disclosed to us. The regional minister, again, is in another meeting. Is unable to discuss the outcome of the meeting with the media. But the meeting is over now. We don't know what they are going to do. All the 22 suspects are still in police custody. They have not granted any of them bail. They are still there, whilst investigation is still going on to bring the other perpetrators to book.
So the traditional authority is upset with the police that is acting on and on behalf of the state, for and behalf of the state, by arresting persons that carried out this act. I mean, basically, is that what it means?
That is what the sentiments we are picking at the palace. I was at the palace when the meeting was going on, and in fact, they are equally angry with the media. We were sacked from the palace and said if we don't move around, they will attack us because they think that we are part of the problem who broke the story all over the country. They don't want to see even the media at the palace, including the police, because they think that they have not handled the issue professionally. That's from that's what is coming from the palace. So because of this sentiment, the media
are these, I mean, what you're saying, is this something that the WANA is, included, with the chiefs or the traditional authorities that are upset with the police? Is the WANA also included?
Well, in the meeting, the WANA chaired the meeting. He is there in the meeting, but the regional police command was not represented in the meeting. So we tried finding out why the regional police command was not in the meeting, and we were told that the palace is not happy with how the regional police command is going around.
So they did not invite the police?
They did not invite the police, and the police too was not there. Other RISEC members were there, excluding the regional police commander and any of the representatives in that meeting.
Right. Again, let me ask you, where are the young ones who were, flogged?
Well, they are in their various homes, receiving some sort of self medication, and they wouldn't like the media to have access to them because they felt victimized, and they wouldn't want to see further trying to explain or give any other information as to how they are feeling. But we are told that, in fact, they don't want to be seen again because they don't know how people will see them again. They are tagged. They feel ashamed for the public to see them again.
Right. Right. Adam, thank you for your time. We will come back to you, but let's go on to Zoom and speak with security analyst Dr. Adam Bona for more on this development. Mr. Bona, thank you so much for your time. You're welcome to Newsbeat. I mean, what have you also picked up so far as your sector, that's the security analysis, is concerned? Hello, Doc. Kindly unmute. I think you are still on mute, so unmute.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, I can hear you.
Hear me now?
I can hear you now, yes, sir.
Yes, so yes, what I picked up, I mean, what I can say from since the incident broke up to this morning, the police regional command, they've acted professionally. Because from last night when the information started trickling down that the police regional headquarters is under siege, some of us got worried because then, I mean, and to also put on record that it's my home region, the Upper West, that I'm from the Upper West. And so some of these things directly, you know, would impact us either positively or negatively. And so they've handled it professionally. DCOP Ndekugri and his team, they've done extremely well. But that's notwithstanding, I think that there has to be a lot of dialogue. If you know the topography of the Upper West, you would know that it's made up of, you know, different ethnic groups, the Wala people, the Dagabes, the Sisales. We have different ethnic groups, but you have Christians, you have Muslims, you have the traditional people. These groups have, over the years, lived together peacefully. And so mine is that the peaceful coexistence among the people in the Upper West should be pride to the people of the Upper West. So I would ask the people there, the indigenes there, to calm down. The overlord of the Wala traditional area is someone that I know very well, and the spokesperson, I must say. And so I would urge calm and say that what happened to those two young people was despicable. It shouldn't have happened. But that notwithstanding, this should not lead to further confrontation where lives are likely to be lost or properties damaged. This is what I can say. But I think the situation, I'm told, is under control. Annie.
I mean, when you listen to some legal analysis pointing to the fact that, well, you know, when you have sex, that alone is not the offense. It is the publication of the acts that's the offense. And the community deemed that offense as quite serious. And I'm sure they have undertones of how they punish those who, you know, engage in that. And they have been recording multiple acts of that since the beginning of the year. And so even the chiefs and the traditional leaders had warned the youth ahead of time. There's also the analysis of the fact that when it leaked, there'd been the process of looking for those who were involved, parading them in town, taking them to the palace, the punishments recommended, and in all that the police saw all these things, but was quiet until the flogging in public. Where is the breach? And, you know, do you think that the police are falling short in a way because they've been with them, they live with them, probably practice the culture, understanding whatever with them?
Well, I must say, you know, the Wala traditional area is predominantly Islamic. So you would have, it's dominated by Muslims. And you know that these things are frowned upon by various religions, including Islam. And so for these young people, you know, having sex and videoing themselves and sharing that in a community that is very conservative. You know, when I say, I mean, this is a community that is very close. The Wala people, I mean, if you live there in the Upper West, you are told that we are one people, Tijabunye. And so when these things come out, it speaks to the fact that probably, you know, there's something wrong with society. But you know that we have a law that also frowns on these things. The person who published it, it is not the act of, you know, having sex in your bedroom. That is a crime. It is the act of publication. And so you might not crucify the person who was in the act, but the person who, you know, published it is the one who you must look for to punish according to law. And so I am not sure at what point these people were paraded in town.
Right.
But I am picking up information that this is not the first video. It means that those who are in the habit of publicizing or publishing these videos are the people who the police should go after. This is, yes, you would have traditional rules and, you know, religious rules, but, you know, you would have the Constitution is supreme. And so traditional rules don't come before, what do you call it, the Constitution or the laws of the country.
Right.
And so they might have fallen foul of Islamic laws, traditional laws, and the law that governs all of us. Therefore, the law that governs all of us should be the one that must be applied. But as to whether the police didn't act, you know, swiftly to deal with it, I have no information on that.
Right.
But as far as I'm concerned, I think that the young people shouldn't have flogged them, and it is wrong. But they should find a way to deal with it. I hear they are likely to present them to court. This is a misdemeanor. And so I want to believe that they are likely to be granted bail. When they are granted bail, ERECSEC, they've already met. They should meet the traditional, the overlord of the Wala traditional area should meet with all of these people. And then the law should take its course whilst a peaceful, you know, arbitration takes place in this matter. Some of us don't want to see the region go up in turmoil.
Right. Right. Adam Bona, thank you. That's a security analyst, Dr. Adam Bona, speaking to the matter. Now, let's still stay with crime. 2 persons have been arrested by the police in Ewutu Breku in the Ewutu Senya districts of the Central Region over an attack on the Ankobiahene of Ewutu Traditional Council, Nai Oshimpo Achampon III. During the attack, the Odikro of Ewutu Oshimpo Nai of Kofi Ochre sustained some machete wounds by the unknown assailants. Now, the following reports by the Central Regional correspondent, Akwesiato, has the rest of the story.
The attack, which occurred on Wednesday afternoon, nearly cost the life of the Odikro of Oshimpo, who sustained several machete wounds. The Ankobiahene of the Ewutu Traditional Council, Nai Oshimpo Echampon, who was in a meeting with some chiefs and elders, was attacked by a rampaging youth group wielding machetes and clubs. After subjecting the divisional chief, Nai Oshimpo Echampon III to severe beatings, the youth group took away his clothes, regalia, as well as his traditional Ahenema sandals to indicate his disturment. The youth group turned their anger on the Odikro of Oshimpo community, Nai Kofi Ochre, and inflicted on him machete wounds in an attempt to save Nai Oshimpo Echampon III. The Ewutu District Police Command, following the violent attack, arrested 2 prime suspects, assisting the police in investigations. In an interview, Nai Oshimpo Echampon III noted that he believes the action was sparked by a portion of land he recently offered to a waste management company to use as a disposal site. He believes a section of his family who disagree with this decision launched the attack because they were engaged in illegal sand winning activities on the said land. He mentioned also that this is not the first time the youth group hired the services of Langards to terrorize him and some other elders, and thus called on the police to deal effectively with the matter.
They smashed the Odikro with a hammer and they mercilessly beat me. There were about 20 in all.
Number 20. That's it. Assassin, I'm the Amasa. You can see a
And with the issues related to land issues, the Office of the Special Prosecutor has frozen the bank accounts of the late Chief Executive Officer of the Forestry Commission, Kwejo Owusu-Afriyie, popularly known as Sir John. This latest move is part of the investigations into the acquisition of the state lands that were contained in the will of the late CEO. The Office of the Special Prosecutor last week commenced investigations into the suspected case of corruption against Sir John, which with regards to his alleged improper acquisition of the state lands within the ACHIMOTA forest and the Sakumona Ramsar site. Now, a will purported to be of Sir John caused public uproar after he bequeathed state lands to some relatives. Metro News sources have also said processes are underway to also freeze his assets overseas. And you're still watching Newsbeat here with us, Metro TV. We'll go for a breather. We'll be back shortly with more. Welcome back to Newsbeat. Every June 3rd is commemorated as a Black Day, a day many lost their lives while others sustained varied degrees of injuries as a result of the heavy rains. Now, as we enter the season again, how prepared is the country to prevent any possible reoccurrence?
It was a striking sight on June 3, 2015, when a twin disaster took the whole country into a state of shock and grief. At the Kwame Nkrumah Circle, lifeless bodies, broken down vehicles and destroyed shops due to a deluge and a devastating fire at the area. 154 people lost their lives as a result, while more than 200 sustained varied degrees of injuries, which until date has left a bizarre nightmare on them. Through the then government's intervention, majority were able to receive assistance to receive medical care, while some were compensated with money and other items that will enable them cater for themselves. It's been almost 7 years already, and what necessary measures have been put in place to prevent a reoccurrence of this event? The rains are here again, and flooding issues seems to have not been given the needed attention by the appropriate authorities. How about victims who suffered from this unforeseen event? Amidst early warnings by the Ghana Meteorological Service for a prevention strategy to be employed by the Disaster Management Authority, little have been done as in recent time. How prepared are we as we hit the season of rains? What are the lessons learned, and what are the plans to protect lives and properties?
And now attempts at finding solutions to Ghana's perennial flooding remains a mirage. While environmentalists have blamed city authorities for the mess, MMDCs have argued that they have comprehensive strategies to reduce flooding in the cities.
Heavy rains have submerged many parts of Accra and other cities. This, in time, has been blamed on failure of city authorities to adopt measures to mitigate flooding. Against this background, environmentalist Nana Jomo Sapon blames city authorities for failure to deal with the flooding situation. He lamented most river bodies have become storm drains causing floods.
when they started this gutter engineering, I cautioned them that if they do this gutter, it will affect people downstream. They didn't listen, and they did this gutter. And the worst thing they are doing is that look at the sand. In the contract they give them, they say dust pollution is negligible. It's just a negligible thing they are doing here. The sad thing is that the engineer at this place, I call him that people are putting sand somewhere, it will cause it. One of this guy, he told me that the man has come to beg him. As an engineer, I call him this time, he doesn't respond. When I see something, I want to draw his attention so that they won't mind me, because they know what they are getting. It's so sad.
He therefore called on government to sack MMDCs for failing to reduce flooding.
Told you that was about not long ago with you that this is going to cause a problem. It's going to cause flooding severe, but they didn't mind me. Okay, in Ghana, I'm asking this question. Is this only about evil things, bad things people are concerned? Parliamentarians, don't you see these things? Who is the MP here? And all over the city and all over the country, the MPs, they don't see this thing going on. What are they doing about it? Does he have to take the president who is sitting somewhere carrying Ghana on his head to come and do these things? President sack some people because they are not working. If somebody can do, a private person can do this, an engineer come and do this and break somebody's wall and allow all this nonsense, where are we going? Go behind there. The water is very clean. It can do something. You can use it to wash your things. But it's a gutter now.
The Lejokuku Municipal Chief Executive Mordecai Kwashi, however,
well, developers have actually sought to, add their voices to the flooding situation, saying that the land tenure system in Ghana is part to be blamed for the current situation. Meanwhile, news just coming in from Parliament indicates that the minority side of the Lands and Natural Resources Committee of Parliament will later today hold a crunch meeting with the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources, Samuel Abujinapo, over recent concerns of alleged sale of public lands to private individuals.
The authorities concerned about keeping government land are showing unaccountability in the usage of the land. We are all aware of the ACHIMOTA land issue. Whilst we are still thinking about it, other issues are coming up. Our lands again in Kumasi and other regional capitals. These concerns have gotten to the point that we think that we need to talk about it, we need to investigate them, and we need to get the minister to respond to issues that we are bringing up. We have already signaled to the minister to come before us, the membership of the Committee of Lands and Forestry, to explain to us the circumstances under which government is finding it compelling to give out lands that it has acquired years ago. We hope that the minister is coming along with Forestry and Lands Commission so they can respond to issues and questions that we have before them. We believe very strongly that the Ghanaian public is anxious, very much anxious, to know exactly how we are reserving our lands, especially those that are under reserves, how we are keeping state lands, and how eventually they will have effective use to make sure those lands become of essence to the development of the state. So today's meeting is to just inform you about the fact that we are working on them, is to inform you about the fact that on Tuesday, we are going to have the minister come before us and explain all these circumstances. We want to keep you informed. We want to make sure we get Ghanaian public aware that we are not giving anything out and that we will ensure that the best is done for us. So it's a brief encounter. And after the meeting with the minister, all the issues that we brought up, we will make sure we bring it back to you again. It is something that we know the public is eager to be abreast with. Yeah. Thank you. Yes.
And that's the MP for Wa Central Rashid Pelpo, and is also the ranking member for the Lands and Natural Resources Committee. Will bring you up to speed with that meeting with the minister. Now, the Cape Coast High Court, presided over by His Lordship Justice ACHIMOTA, has postponed the Tuesday, June 7, the matter involving the Kumfi MPP, who filed a motion at the courts. That's the Cape Coast High Court, challenging the election committee of the party to give them a day to hold their own internal elections. So, according to Atta Daji, lawyer for the defendants, to process were filed at the court earlier, being the supplementary application in pursuit of the injunction and the process of application to join MPP as a party for which they were not served. Hence, the decision to call for the postponement of the matter to address all the challenges coming up. So the Kumfi NPP, on the other hand, is praying the courts will rule in their favor to allow them for the elections. And Akwesiado has joined us for more details on this. Akwesiado, thank you for your time. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Annie.
Okay, so what can you tell us? What after what happened in court? What is happening with the party now?
Okay, so as of now, it is not clear as to when the party would be able to still have the election of their regional executives. On the part of the regional executives, they declined to speak to the media after the court proceedings. But their counsel, who spoke on their behalf, did mention that there were some applications which were not served to them, and so they prayed the court to adjourn sitting, which the court did grant them, and further had the matter rescheduled for Tuesday. Now, on the part of the Kumfi members who are aggrieved, they are still praying that the court would grant their relief by allowing them to have the election, that is the constituency election, before the regional elections can be held here in the central region.
So, well, they definitely will need the court's approval before they move. What's the party executives also doing? I mean, at the national level, have they sent any message across on how the organization is going?
Yes, Annie, last week I did speak to some members of the party in the Kumfi, and then they were telling me that as at then, they had not been reached to by any national executive member of the NPP or any regional executive member of the NPP. But on the part of the regional executive, the person I reached out to was Richard Teshimensa, who happens to be the regional secretary. Now, he had mentioned to me that the party is working around the clock to have the aggrieved person soften their stance. But as it were, that is in the sharp contradiction to the narrative given me by members of the party in the Kumfi. So as of now, we do not know as to when the party can have their elections held, even though some aspirants are still campaigning within the region and trying to convince delegates to vote for them. Now, what is being sought by Kumfi is to have the constituency elections held, and then before they would allow the region to have the executive elections also held.
Right, Akwesiado, thank you for that. And just keep updating us with the details from the party on this development. You're still watching News BT on Metro TV. We'll move on to diplomatic issues and the fuss between the British High Commissioner to Ghana, Harriet Thompson, and the IGP George Akufu-Dampare has taken a different turn with a number of people sharing their views. Here is a brief story so far.
The British High Commissioner to Ghana, Harriet Thompson, in a tweet shared on May 17, bemoaned the arrest of Oliver Barker-Vormawor, who was arrested for a road traffic offence, saying that she was interested in the outcome of the convener's arrest. Responding to the High Commissioner's tweet, the IGP, Dr. George Akufu-Dampare, in a letter to the diplomat said her tweet was made from a prejudiced position. This has sparked the expression of several views from a number of Ghanaians, both first-class citizens and ordinary citizens. Let's begin with a reaction from North Torn MP Samuel Okudzoto-Ablakwa, who calls the reply from the IGP to the British High Commissioner for her comments as an attack. In a post shared on Facebook by the Member of Parliament, he predicted the likeliness of the IGP's statement to affect Ghana's relationship with the United Kingdom. He even goes on to indicate that the behavior of the IGP appears to be part of a trend by the government to attack partners who criticize it. The opposition National Democratic Congress has also accused the IGP of having committed a diplomatic gaffe with its tersely worded letter to the UK High Commissioner Harriet Thompson. A governance expert, Professor Bafo Ajimandria, on the other hand, says some foreign diplomats in the country interfere in the domestic affairs of Ghana too much. He described some of these interferences as unduly and unnecessary. The director of the Faculty of Academic Affairs and Research at KAIPTC, Professor Emmanuel Kwesi-Enim, also lauded the IGP for responding to the British High Commissioner's tweet on the rearrest of social media activist Oliver Barker-Vormawor. Political scientist and senior lecturer at the University of Ghana, Professor Ransford Jampo, has thrown his support behind IGP's letter, cautioning the British High Commissioner to Ghana to stop meddling in the country's internal affairs. With all the back and forth, the British High Commissioner says she is disappointed, aside revealing that she didn't expect the IGP to respond to her tweet in such a manner since she was trying to be diplomatic and not otherwise.
Well, that's how far so far. Let's take the business updates. On the business front, Ghanaians have expressed anger over projections that the price of petrol is expected to go up significantly from today. According to the bulk oil distributors, petrol price will be going up by some 7% the litre. Now, some energy think tanks actually have also predicted that the price of petrol is expected to increase by 5% to 9%. The price of liquefied petroleum gas and diesel will, however, remain the same. My colleague Shadrach Odamiejari is on standby with some Ghanaians to give us what the expectation and the feeling of the price going up also is like. Shadrach.
The petrol increase, when you say it is the government is not in charge, it's not the one in charge of the it is a lie. Whatever happens in the country, in the economy, the government is aware. What about the tax margin that it takes? What about the tax margin? Does it mean that the government not having anything to say about the fuel price? If the citizens are crying, the government is our father. If a child is crying, the father has to come to the aid of the child and ask the child, what is happening? Why are you crying? So whatever the child says, the father comes to the aid of the child. Oh, stop crying. Whatever I will do is so and so.
Within a day, how much fuel do you buy?
In fact, 100 Ghana, and it takes me to nowhere. You cannot work with 100 Ghana fuel. 100 Ghana cedis, which is 2 gallons. It cannot take you the whole day. Even sometimes when you fill your car with 100 Ghana cedis worth of this thing, you have to buy you have to fill a gallon again, so that when you are going, you get short of petrol on the way.
So in a day, if you fill your tank 100 cedis worth of petrol, what profits do you make?
Sometimes 20 Ghana cedis a day. 20 Ghana cedis when you take your fuel out of the distance. It is painful. 20 Ghana cedis.
So you are even better off not working at all.
So this morning I was thinking, what do I come here to do? It's better I stay home. It's better I stay home. Because I come here with the man of at least getting something at the end of the day. And at the end of the day, it said I'm even wasting my time, energy, and everything. I don't get anything. And even the car is for me. And even I even think of those who are driving people's cars, those who make sales. How do they make sales? It's serious.
What is your full name?
I'm Simon Agbechiafa. It is serious. The government should do something about this. They shouldn't be there and be saying, Kope, it is Kope. So the government doesn't know anything about the fuel increase. The government knows something about it. The government knows something about it. So thank you very much.
How has it been after the last fuel price increment? You're dealing with passengers.
My brother, okay, because they are complaining about the prices. From here to Tudu is 6 cities. From here to Mokola is 6 cities. First it was 5 cities, 30 pesos. Okay, since morning I was here around 3:30 a.m. 3:30, and this is my second trip.
And you've not even gone for your second trip?
That is my car over there, the one I've written Buafoyena. That's the car I'm loading Mokola. So which country are we living now? And you still want to increase fuel? At 3:30 a.m. before closing out the day, all my money I got, you'll be counting the money is about 150 cedis. You need to buy fuel.
Join us with the rest of the complaints by drivers and some passengers later on in subsequent bulletins. Now, the Minister for Food and Agriculture, Dr. Usefri Akoto, has sent a strong warning to persons facilitating the smuggling of soya beans out of the country. According to him, efforts are underway to ensure strict adherence to the temporary ban placed on the exportation of grains products from the country.
We expect every Ghanaian to comply with the law, which says that there's a temporal ban. If some miscreants decide that they're going to smuggle, it's for the authorities, the security authorities, to ensure that our borders are policed to implement that initiative. Now, with these reports, and we had heard other reports before, the government of Ghana has set up an interministerial committee, of which I'm the chairman, made up of the Ministry of Interior, Defense, local government, trade and industry, and the rest, and the Ministry of Finance, Customs, and so on, to ensure that these directives are implemented. And by the way, it's not only Ghana. All the West African countries have put a ban. Nigeria, you can't. There's a law, a very strict law, saying that you can't, if a foreigner, go to a farm gate to buy any produce. And so it's just in response to what is happening. This committee have met, this interministerial committee. We've set up a technical committee. And the reason why we are bringing in the local government ministry is because of the district assemblies. You have to comply. The Ministry of National Security is also involved. So hence, we are going to be very, very strict and not sit at the borders to police the borders, but to go to specific markets where these things they come to buy to ensure that they are prevented from buying. So we are going to see very strict adherence to this new policy of banning.
You're still watching Newsbeat here on Metro TV. It's time for sports, but we'll take that after this break.
It's 48 past midday in the Ghanaian capital of Accra. It's time for sports. My name is Fail John Quarty. 3 second-half goals from Mohamed Kudus, Felix Afenijan, and Osman Bubakar secured all 3 points against Madagascar yesterday at Kipco Sports Stadium when the Black Stars were in action in an African Nations qualifier. Otuado is the coach of the Black Stars.
Good saves. We created chances, so I'm happy. But this is football, not all shots will go in, so they blocked some, the goalkeeper was good. And that was it. In all, I was satisfied, even though it was 0-0, there was nothing much I could say. They just had to continue. Second half, they switched the formation into a fallback because I think we created a lot of chances. That's why I think they wanted to stop that and bring one more man in the midfield. But this also worked for us. It was fine. We were prepared for that. And yeah, I think we had some good pressing situations on the right side of Dennis O'Doyle, and this actually broke the glass. The first goal was a great relief for us, and gave us more space, and we brought some new or some fresh players, and they used their speed, like a guy like Osman Bukari did well also, and yeah, I feel good. I was happy that we scored at least, and actually I was more happy that in general we created a lot of chances, and if it goes in or not, it depends on so many other things and small details, but I was happy that we scored.
Otuado reacting at the presser after Ghana managed to beat Madagascar in the African Nations qualifier played yesterday at the Cape Coast Sports Stadium. That brings you some fixtures and results in Europe. Let's start from Luanda, where Angola managed to beat Central African Republic by 2-1. Like I told you, the Black Stars managed to beat Madagascar by 3-0. In Tripoli, Libya managed to beat Botswana by 1-0. Later today in Tunis, Tunisia will welcome Equatorial Guinea, while in Maputo, it will be Rwanda going over there. Let's get to European Nations League. Serbia will play against the men from Oslo, that is Norway. Then Slovenia will be at home against Sweden. Cyprus will play Kosovo, whilst Greece will be in Athens against Northern Ireland. Bulgaria will encounter Northern Macedonia, whilst Albania is Georgia will play in Tbilisi against Gilbert. I think Estonia will play against San Marino. Switzerland will take on Czech Republic. Spain will be in Madrid against Portugal, whilst Israel will be in Tel Aviv against Iceland. That's your sports. My name is Faye John Quartin, and I are standing by for the latest in showbiz.
Thank you, Johnny. Entertainment is next. My name is Nanaya Tanobach. Now to our very first story, UK-based Ghanaian media personality and music marketer Christina Kama has called for women representation in the Ghanaian music industry in order to change the narrative. Speaking on Entertainment Review, Christina believes women are powerhouses with bigger voices and they can take over the male-dominated industry in a matter of time.
There's so much to be done, but I think one of the main things is that women should just move forward and just do it. Yeah. I think the more women that push this door down, it will fall over. Yeah. And I think then we will have a voice, and then we'll be able to move. I think the more, don't overthink this thing. This industry is crazy, but I think there are so many rooms for change, and our opinion matters. Sometimes even more so than a man. Sometimes we know, but we will not say anything because we let the men do their thing. But we need to understand that our voice could be even bigger, and we're powerhouses. Yeah. So I'm just saying, like, all women, just come into the game, come into the industry, and let's just slowly just take over.
And that's all on Entertainment News. Annie, over to you.
Thank you, Nanaya. Now let's do some international updates on other stories. Now, on gun violence, 4 people have been killed in shooting spree at a hospital in Tulsa, Oklahoma, in the United States, police say. Officers confirmed that the suspected shooter, who was armed with a rifle and a handgun, was also dead. Police arrived at the scene on Wednesday afternoon at St. Francis Hospital in 3 minutes, which they say ensured the death toll wasn't higher. Speaking at a press conference, the Deputy Police Chief, Eric Dalgesh, said 4 civilians were confirmed dead, as well as the shooter, and others were multiple injuries. And that's what we have for you this afternoon here on Newsbeat. It came to you live from the Ikea studio at North Ridge. We'll be back at 4 with News Flash and at 7 with News Night. Thanks for watching. Good afternoon.